doing today?
I'm very good myself, thank you. I literally just got off stage, as you can see, and we had 3 shows in Texas, and I jokingly said on stage last night in Dallas that it's the Battle of Texas. We just did Houston the day before, and wanted the crowds to fight each other to see which one is the better in Texas, and they were all good, but I think, you know, San Antonio comes up with a vibe, but this is like a good metal city. I see a lot of people with all these old school thrash metal t-shirts and all that. It was just good energy tonight. Yeah, I like that.
So you were just in the U.S. earlier this year with touring Cradle of Filth, and now you guys are back already doing headline shows. Was it a surprise to find out you had such a large fan base over in the States?
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, this tour that we are on has been really poorly promoted and marketed. So I'm still anxious to see how it's going to develop. But I think there are quite a few people that have been aware of Satyricon from like way back in the days when we didn't even have a proper distribution of our records over here. Now Satyricon has always prioritized Europe, and that has been our main fan base, and then we kind of took on Japan, Australia, and in between all this, we've done America, but we never had, both for legal reasons, we had visa problems with my drummer, and prioritizing other markets, never had the chance to have a continuous go at the American market, so it kind of says a lot that the band has been going on for 17 years, and this is only our 4th time in America.
Right. Do you feel like the Age of Nero was your strongest CD today?
Yeah, I do, because I feel that the Age of Nero very much, to me, that's a very good example of what 17 years of music has taught us. I mean, when you're young, you have all these riffs, and you just, you bombard your songs with riff, and then as a musician, you go more into like writing songs, and you define the character and the spirit of your band as it matures, and it becomes clear to you what your band is truly about and what your strengths and weaknesses are. And you work with that in the back of your mind. And to me, with the Age of Nero, we never set out to make it was not supposed to be a revolution or anything. I was trying to combine what I consider to be the finest elements of Satyricon into one record. So I kind of look at it was like our exams. But
I had read that you guys wrote that album in a wooden cabin, kind of secluded.
Well, I mean,
and
no album has ever been written in one place, but that was a big part of it, yeah.
Tell me about, and forgive me if I butcher this guy's name, you were working with Snor Rutch of Thorns?
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
Not really, but it wasn't that far away. Snodderuk. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So, you usually haven't worked with collaborators in the past.
Him and I have worked. I mean, we never had like a formal collaboration, but we have worked together. I mean, he did an album project called Thorns versus Emperor, and with those 2 bands, obviously, and for that one I did help out with some production stuff. I did most of the vocals, if not, I don't remember if I did all of it, but most of it at least. A friend of mine that has a cabin up in the mountains of Norway, and it's just like imagine like a big ski resort.
Yeah.
And like on the very top of the mountain, and like an area with lots of cabins. He's got one that's sort of a little bit remote, nice location with a good view, and kind of like little bit hidden from everything else. And my friend and his family just moved to the south coast of Norway, and he goes, dude, I never use it. You just go ahead and if you want to write music. Because Snorri and I had been working together earlier, just like renting cabins and stuff like that. And he said, here's the key. You just use it. I need someone to look after it anyway. So I would go there a lot.
Well, one thing I wanted to tout is you guys have been really well received here in the States, but I mean, it must be an honor even back home. You guys headlined the Inferno Fest, a 4-day black metal fest over there. How was that experience for you guys?
I think that's something that they wanted us to do pretty much from when they started, but it was never right for us either, for scheduling stuff, or because we wanted to do our own shows or whatever it was. But this time around things fell into place, and then we did it. It was a good show, but to be honest with you, I'd rather prefer like playing that same venue by myself, or like a Satyricon show.
Okay.
The reason for that being basically like we'll sell out that venue ourselves, and everyone will be there to see the Satyricon show.
Yeah.
When they're at the Inferno Festival, a lot of people are there to see the Satyricon show. A lot of people are there to see some other band. A lot of people are there just to hang out and meet with friends and drink beer.
Uh-huh.
So the focus, not everyone's watching the stage. A lot of people just hanging out. And, obviously as an artist, when you play a show, you want everyone to pay attention to what you're doing and join the game.
Yeah, from an outside perspective, it seems like that would be a pretty big deal to like headline that fest above all the other bands.
Well, I mean, to me, it's more of a... I grew up like reading all this English metal magazines, and I read about, the Monsters of Rock and all that at Donington Park in England, and just that to me seemed like such a divine thing, the Monsters of Rock, with all these great bands and all these people and this metal extravaganza, and it was unthinkable. I could never go see something like that given my age and living in a different country and all that. But I read about it and I saw the posters and the live photos and really wanted to be a part of something like that. And later on, I guess that thing more or less went bankrupt, and it arose at Donington Park, and it had a new name, and it was called Download.
Uh-huh.
But it was just as big as it was when it was Monsters of Rock. And in 2006, on the Not Diabolical album, we opened the main stage on Saturday, which was the main day of the festival, and Metallica were headlining, and when we took the stage, there were 80,000 people.
Fuck.
Yeah.
You guys played Bakken too, right?
Yeah. So for me, more like from growing up and reading about the Donington Park stuff, or listening to a band like Metallica and stuff like that, and just to actually go on the main stage and see Metallica's ready to go, and just go out and take the stage myself, and seeing this surreal amount of people was obviously an overwhelming experience. It was a really short show, but still we got to do it. So that's probably like one of those things that, and it's I thought it was really nice. Have you heard about Hole in the Sky in Norway? That festival?
Yeah, the Enslaved guys put that on, right?
Yeah, that's really cool. And we did a show there when Quorthon from Bathory died, which was obviously a big inspiration to all Norwegian black metalers. We put a put on like a tribute show with an all-star band with different singers that came in and did one Bathory song each. And for me, it was it was an honor to be a part of such a tribute, and like just the atmosphere that night was really special. It was very emotional, and it felt like really, really important what was unfolding right there and then. So I hold that as like in high regard as a personal music, experience. Yeah.
That's fucking cool. One thing I wanted to ask you about was the first time you to States with Pantera. What was that like?
No, that was in actually that was in Europe. What happened is that we came over. We had a tour here in 2000 on our Rebel Extravaganza album, and then that tour was supposed to last for a month. And it was us as headliners, and then Immortal as direct support, Angel Corpse and Christian. And shortly before that tour, Pantera offered us to open for them in Europe. That was when they put out Reinventing the Steel, which turned out to be the last ever Pantera record. And by the way, that tour that we were on with them, that was their last Euro tour as well that they ever did.
Fuck. Did you get to know them pretty well on the road?
What's that?
Did you get to know the guys pretty well on the road?
Yeah, I mean, I knew Phil Anselmo from before, and I think that's pretty much what got us on that tour. That he was and still is heavily into black metal, and we were working on some music together, him and I.
Was that for Ibon?
Yeah, and we had basically just started working on that, and I had only met him once, and then he offered us the tour, and I just told everyone that we have to do this tour, and we said, well, okay, why don't we do this? Go to the US and do the first 2 weeks, fly back and join the Pantera tour for that first show. So that's what we did. We flew over to the States, did the first half of that 1 month tour, and then just headed straight to Stockholm for the first show on the Pantera tour, which was a quite long tour. It was like 6 weeks. But that Pantera tour, that was the breakthrough for Satyricon in Europe, because there was a lot of excitement around Satyricon at the time, and I mean, I think it was about to happen, but I think the Pantera tour that pushed that a little bit more forward, because I mean, the kids were aware of us anyway, but what made the difference is that back in those days, like magazines like Kerrang and all those like huge rock magazines, they wouldn't write about like a black metal band unless there was someone that had done something that criminal,
sensational.
Yeah. So, but I guess to these guys, for some stupid reason, it became sort of more legit to write about it when we were part of that Pantera tour, and so they started writing about us, and that put us on more people's radar.
Do you and Frost drink beer?
Yeah, we drink beer. We drink a lot more wine than we drink beer.
Well, have you seen that movie Beer Fest?
Nope.
It's a movie where Americans enter a competition against Europeans to see who can drink more beer, and the Americans kind of get their asses handed to them. And I was wondering if that would be true with Scandinavians as well. Like, do you think the Pantera guys, because they're pretty legendary for being able to toss them back, like, who do you think could drink more beer?
Oh, no, I mean, that would easily be us. I'm like, what are we talking about? I've been on tour with them. I mean, the legendary Dimebag Darrell. He would get everyone drunk on his whiskey, and it was really hard to get away from it. It didn't really matter, like, if you go like, Dime, dude, I'm so tired, and I'm about to catch a call. I just really don't want to do this. And he's like, come on, bro. Like, there was no escape. But then, as the tour tour went on, I started kind of getting the feeling that Dimebag was passing out whiskey to everyone. I'm like, hey dude, come on, cheers and all that. And I started thinking, how much does he actually drink himself? there was a lot of like pouring whiskey and going, hey man, so I started pushing him a little bit, and it turns out that, you know, he likes his whiskey, but he didn't drink as much as, you know, it would seem like. But no, surely they threw on some good parties. I think Vinnie Paul put up like some sort of strip club. I don't know where the strippers came from. He might have. I think he flew them in from the clubhouse or whatever. But we played in Strasbourg in France, and they set up some strip club in the backstage area. It was crazy. Yeah.
So you've expressed your displeasure in the past with the lies and inaccuracies that Words of Chaos book, and now they're turning that into kind of a Hollywood production. In your opinion, do you think that black metal in general is never meant to be documented in tell-all books and movies, and it kind of loses the aesthetics and principles it stands for when it's...
That's why I don't participate in stuff like that. That's why I turn it down, because I just don't have any interest in it. I think there are a lot of people out there that want to try and capitalize on something that they've never been a part of making.
Yeah. So you guys filmed a video for Black Crow on a tombstone off the Age of Nero. Do you guys got any plans to do any more videos when you take some time off, maybe, or any more DVD coming
I don't
out?
know. I mean, we did a lot of footage, live footage that we were thinking about using for the Wolf Pack from the Age of Nero. But we've been waiting for so long to get like all that footage together and sit down and actually watch all of it. And what I'm actually hoping for now, that when I get home from this tour, that everything is going to be ready for me. And what it really comes down to is that if I feel like we have enough footage, the kind of quality that I'm looking for.
So since October is right around the corner, I wanted to ask you about Halloween. Is that a holiday?
It is October now.
Yes, sir. Is that a holiday you took part in Norway growing up?
It means nothing.
Really?
No. Actually, it doesn't. I mean, Valentine's Day means nothing. Halloween means nothing. Service industry and, you know, whoever is interested in selling any kind of commercial product, they're trying to make Halloween and Valentine's Day a big deal, but Norwegians have yet to pick up on it.
Well, I definitely want to thank you for taking the time to talk metal with me today. It's been an honor, Satyr. I got one last question for you before we wrap this up, and certainly a question that's probably on a lot of fans' minds. Who was the naked chick in the Mother North video, and did anyone in the band ever hook up with her?
No, that was a very, very close friend of mine that has worked on different music video things and stuff like that. So she did a good job for the video.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you so much.